Let's cut through the pretense. Not every woman deserves your time, energy, or loyalty. Some women have the power to elevate you, while others stealthily undermine your strength with smiles that hide their true intent. They arrive draped in allure, perfume, glossy lipstick, and an impeccable smile, only to drain you slowly, leaving you bereft of focus, confidence, and inner peace. Understand this clearly. A woman of low value isn't merely the wrong match. She poses a genuine threat. How do you identify her? How do you protect your well-being before your life turns into an uninvited battleground? In this video, I reveal 6 uncompromising signs that signal, "Get out now," because a real man never wastes his power on chaos cleverly dressed as beauty. Before we plunge in, make sure to hit like, subscribe to the Stoic Spirit, and prepare to transform your perspective. Sign 1. She craves constant chaos. Some women can't seem to breathe unless tension fills the air. If life is too calm, she conjures a storm just to feel something. For her, peace isn't a sanctuary. It's an emptiness she must fill with strife. She'll spark arguments over trivial matters, twist your words into weapons, and accuse you of actions you never committed. Then, as if it were part of her design, she'll pull away without warning, not because she's wounded, but so you can chase after her endlessly. And disturbingly, she revels in the chaos she creates. You've probably heard it before. "I just like a little drama. It keeps life exciting." But remember, when there's no true passion, it's nothing more than dysfunction. A woman of true worth prizes calm over conflict, clarity over confusion, and genuine connection over the illusion of control. Yet a woman addicted to drama thrives in a fog of emotion, leaving you to constantly question every word and move as you tiptoe around her unpredictable mood swings. That isn't love. That's merely surviving in a war zone you never enlisted in. Here's the crucial insight. You don't have to play her dangerous game. You have the strength to step away, and when you do, she may either panic and pursue or vanish and lay the blame at your feet. Either outcome is a victory because peace isn't a battle. It's a choice about who you let into your life. Before we proceed, remember to like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Tell me, have you ever been caught in a cycle where chaos was the only currency she knew? Sign 2. She's hooked on external validation. You might love her wholeheartedly, offering praise, support, and unwavering commitment. Yet for a woman who lives for attention, your love is never enough. What she craves isn't intimacy, but the applause of strangers. Her need for validation isn't spoken, it's broadcasted. Social media is her stage, with every photo meticulously arranged and every caption engineered to garner admiration and provoke curiosity. It's less about sharing her life and more about performing for an audience. She might dismiss your concerns with lines like, "I can't help if guys comment. It's just a picture. You're overreacting." But what she's really saying is that she values the admiration of outsiders over your respect. And that is the core of the problem. She isn't seeking a meaningful connection. She's busy putting on a show. One foot is in your world, while the other is out fishing for likes, hearts, and compliments from anyone watching. When you confront her about this, she'll flip the blame, calling you jealous, insecure, or accusing you of overstepping simply for noticing her performance. A high-value woman doesn't need validation from the masses. She only values the gaze of a man who respects her for who she is, not for what the world applauds. She measures her worth by her character, not by ephemeral comments or compliments. The truth is, if she is forever chasing applause from others, she will never appreciate what's real, including you. And the longer you remain, the more you fade into invisibility. Before moving forward, hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Have you ever felt like you were dating not just her, but her entire following. Sign 3. She refuses to own her actions. You'll notice her pattern immediately. Every problem is somehow never her fault. She makes questionable choices, starting conflicts, throwing gasoline on burning issues, and then stepping back to let the blame smolder on you. She might cheat because you were distant, or disrespect you because you made her angry. And when the fallout occurs, she's quick to deflect responsibility onto anyone but herself. This endless loop of excuses leaves no room for growth, reflection, or accountability. Here's the danger. Over time, you become her default scapegoat. Each time something goes wrong, she tells you, you dropped it, and you start to wonder if perhaps you were too distant, too reactive, or simply not enough. But the truth is, it's her refusal to look in the mirror. A woman of true value owns her mistakes. She learns, she grows, and she never shifts blame. In stark contrast, a low-value woman constructs a life based on excuses. And if you allow her to dictate the narrative, you'll end up carrying the guilt, the weight, and the damage long after she's gone. Understand this. You cannot heal someone who won't admit they're wounded. Sometimes, stepping away is not a sign of surrender. It's a conscious choice for peace over perpetual punishment. Before we continue, like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Have you ever found yourself apologizing for problems you never caused, just to keep the harmony? Sign 4. She controls you through subtle emotional warfare. There's a breed of woman who never needs to raise her voice or engage in overt fights, yet she manages to get exactly what she wants. Instead of demanding directly, she manipulates with quiet tactics, using silence, subtle cues, and an almost imperceptible sadness to sway your emotions. Soon, you begin to feel guilty for things you never did, responsible for emotions you never provoked, and hesitant to enforce boundaries you rightfully deserve. At first, her tactics may seem minor, a silent treatment after a small disagreement, or a sorrowful look when you make plans without her. She dismisses it with a casual, "It's fine," yet her body language screams betrayal. Gradually, you start to question your every move. Were you too harsh? Too selfish? Did you do something wrong? That's the trap she sets. Instead of confronting you with words, she manipulates you through the absence of them, using silence as a weapon to control and confound. You find yourself canceling plans, altering your behavior, and walking on emotional eggshells just to prevent that cold shift in energy. And every time you give in, you reinforce her control, proving that guilt is an effective tool for manipulation. A woman of true worth will speak her mind, express her needs, and build a connection through clarity, not covert coercion. But when guilt becomes her bargaining chip, she isn't seeking a partner. She's constructing a puppet show where you're the unwilling marionette. Consider this scenario. You tell her a week ahead that you'll see your friends, and she casually agrees. Yet on the day, she grows distant. When you ask if everything is all right, she dismisses you with a shrug, leaving you feeling abandoned and conflicted. You're tempted to cancel your plans, not out of desire, but to escape that relentless guilt. Understand this. It isn't love. It's emotional manipulation disguised as care, and it only deepens until you decide enough is enough. A stoic man doesn't fold under the weight of silence, nor does he beg for peace. Instead, he confronts discomfort with unwavering strength. If something bothers you, address it with calm resolve. If she refuses to articulate her feelings, live your life regardless. A man of virtue chooses clarity over covert control and freedom over guilt. Have you ever found yourself burdened by guilt for actions you never took? If so, hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Sign 5. She lacks a vision for the future. A woman of high value thinks in terms of decades, investing in her personal growth, managing her finances wisely, and building a future alongside a partner who shares her ambitions. In stark contrast, a low-value woman lives as if tomorrow doesn't exist, impulsively chasing highs, dodging discipline, and shunning any semblance of structure. Her idea of fulfillment is rooted in momentary fun rather than a lasting foundation. You'll notice it in the small things. She never budgets yet spends extravagantly, frequently hops from one job to the next without building a career, and casually dismisses the importance of planning with phrases like, "I just go with the flow." The flow leads nowhere. She deflects responsibility by blaming her circumstances, be it a toxic boss, a disastrous ex, or even her parents, while never admitting her own part in her failures. And here's the impact on you. If she can't even manage her own future, how can you expect her to build one with you? Instead, you become the fallback plan, the financial safety net for her chaotic lifestyle. At first, she might seem exciting and spontaneous, saying yes to every invitation, enjoying last-minute trips, and reveling in the freedom of unpredictability. But that freedom soon reveals its dark side: mounting debts, constant complaints about money, and a dismissive attitude towards saving for the future. When you mention responsibility, she laughs it off, as if living only once justifies reckless behavior. But precisely because you live only once, you must choose to live wisely. A woman without direction won't help you construct a meaningful future. She'll slow you down, question your plans, or worse, depend on you entirely. A thriving relationship is built on alignment, shared purpose, and mutual commitment. Without these, love crumbles as soon as life presents its challenges. If she fears commitment in her own life, she will never honor it in yours. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Tell me, have you ever been with someone who dismissed long-term planning yet expected you to shoulder the future? Sign 6. She challenges true masculinity. A woman who truly values herself understands and appreciates a strong man. Someone whose confidence isn't intimidating, but grounding, whose leadership offers protection and stability. Yet, there are those who view your natural strength as a threat rather than an asset. Instead of complimenting your assertiveness, she engages in a subtle war of power, consistently challenging your every move. She may argue simply for the sake of asserting dominance, scrutinizing your decisions no matter how calmly you lead. It's not about striving for equality. It's an unyielding contest for control. When you offer to take charge with a simple, "I'll handle it," she might retort, "I don't need a man to do that. Step up as a leader." Suddenly, setting boundaries becomes synonymous with being controlling, and you're labeled as toxic for simply fulfilling your role. In her eyes, your leadership feels like a threat. Dig deeper, and you find that she doesn't merely resist masculinity. She harbors resentment toward it, perhaps born of past betrayals, a childhood surrounded by misused power, or an ingrained belief that strength must be wrested rather than shared. The outcome is the same. She blocks you from being the man you're destined to be because she fears what will happen if she isn't in control. Consequently, you start to soften your voice, doubt your instincts, and second-guess every decision, all in an effort to keep her at ease. But remember, a Stoic man knows that true masculinity is not toxic. It is disciplined, purpose-driven, and essential for bringing order to chaos. You were not created to apologize for your strength. You were born to lead with honor. The right woman will recognize, trust, and support that power, not undermine it with constant challenges. A genuine relationship is not a tug-of-war. It's a partnership where both individuals pull in the same direction. So, if you often feel like you're waging a silent battle, where your presence is a liability rather than a pillar, it's time to reassess. You don't need a rival, you need a true partner. If this message resonates with you, hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. Have you ever found yourself compromising your masculinity just to keep a woman comfortable? And remember, don't stop here. Check out the full playlist for more insights that sharpen your mind and fortify your spirit. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remain steadfast, stay grounded, and never settle for anything less than what you truly deserve.